Most people believe music taste is random. You might think you just like a song because it sounds good, but that is not true. Sounding good is not a property of the sound itself. It is a reaction happening inside your brain. To understand your philosophy, you first need to understand how your brain processes sound. Let us look at the mechanics of hearing. Sound waves hit your ear. Your brain turns those waves into electrical signals. But your brain does not just sit there and receive the signals. Your brain is a prediction machine. It is constantly guessing what will happen next. When you hear a rhythm, your brain anticipates the next beat. If the beat lands exactly where your brain guessed it would land, then your brain rewards you. It releases a chemical called dopamine. This makes you feel pleasure. You feel safe because your prediction was correct. The world made sense to you for a split second. This is the first layer of your philosophy. It is your relationship with order. Think about simple pop music. It is very repetitive. The structures are predictable. Verse, then chorus, then verse, then chorus. If you primarily listen to music that follows strict rules, it suggests a specific cognitive preference. You likely value stability. You prefer environments where the rules are clear. Your brain rewards you for correctly predicting the future. Now compare that to freeform jazz or heavy experimental metal. In these genres, the beat often disappears. The melody breaks. The prediction fails. When the prediction fails, the brain usually releases stress chemicals. Most people feel anxiety when they hear this. They turn it off. But some people stay. If you enjoy music that breaks patterns, your brain is doing something different. It is suppressing that anxiety response. It is looking for a deeper pattern underneath the chaos. This reveals a philosophy of openness. It suggests you are comfortable with ambiguity. You do not need immediate answers to feel safe. You find value in the struggle to understand something complex. So ask yourself this. When you are stressed, do you play music that confirms what you expect? Or do you play music that surprises you? If you play familiar songs on repeat, you are using music to rebuild order. You are telling yourself that the world is predictable. If you play new or complex music, you are practicing adaptation. You are training your brain to find meaning in a disorderly world. Let us go deeper into the notes themselves. This involves the concept of dissonance. Dissonance happens when two tones clash. They sound harsh together. They create tension. In physics, sound is a vibration. Harmonious sounds have vibrations that line up mathematically. They fit together perfectly. Dissonant sounds have vibrations that fight each other. They create a wobbly interference pattern. Your reaction to this physical interference reveals your philosophy on conflict. Some listeners cannot stand dissonance. They want the song to resolve immediately. They want the tension to go away. If this is you, then your philosophy likely prioritizes resolution. You view conflict as a problem that needs to be fixed. You might believe that the natural state of the world should be peaceful. When things are not peaceful, you feel a strong urge to correct them. Other listeners enjoy the dissonance. They like the tension. They do not want it to resolve quickly. They find beauty in the clash itself. If this is you, then your philosophy likely accepts conflict as a permanent part of reality. You do not see friction as an error. You see it as a necessary component of existence. You might believe that growth only comes from struggle. This is not just a metaphor. It is a physical tolerance. Your brain is processing the mathematical interference of waves. If you enjoy the clash, you are cognitively framing stress as excitement. If you hate the clash, you are framing stress as a threat. Think about sad music. Why do we listen to sad music when we are already sad? Logically, it should make us feel worse. But it does not. The mechanism here is validation. When you are sad, your internal world feels broken. If you listen to happy music, there is a mismatch. the external world is happy, but your internal world is sad. This creates cognitive dissonance. It feels fake. But when you listen to sad music, the external sound matches your internal feeling. The gap closes. You feel understood. This reveals a philosophy of authenticity. It shows that you value truth over comfort. You would rather feel a true negative emotion than a fake positive one. You are using music to validate your reality rather than to escape it. Now we must move away from sound and look at language. Lyrics are not just poetry. They are affirmations. When you sing along to a song, you are repeating a statement about how the world works. This activates a psychological principle called confirmation bias. We like information that agrees with what we already believe. We ignore information that contradicts us. Consider the subject matter of your favorite songs. Do they describe the world as a hostile place? Do they describe love as a transaction? Do they describe success as material wealth? If you listen to songs about hustling and making money, your brain is rehearsing a specific worldview. That worldview says that value is determined by output. It says that competition is the natural state of humans. You are reinforcing a philosophy of meritocracy. If you listen to songs about heartbreak and loss, your brain is rehearsing a different worldview. That worldview says that connection is the most important thing. It implies that suffering is the price we pay for being human. You are reinforcing a philosophy of humanism. The mechanism is repetition. You might hear a song hundreds of times. That means you have repeated that philosophy hundreds of times. It becomes a neural pathway. It becomes a default mode of thinking. You are not just entertained by the lyrics. You are agreeing with them. You are saying, yes, this is how it is. Pay attention to the pronouns. Does the singer say I or do they say we? Music that focuses on I reinforces individualism. It places the self at the center of the universe. The problems are my problems. The victories are my victories. Music that focuses on we or you reinforces collectivism. It places the relationship at the center. The problems are shared. The victories are communal. This shapes how you solve problems in real life. When you face a challenge, do you isolate yourself like the protagonist in your headphones? Or do you reach out to others? Your music has been training you for that moment for years. We must also talk about time. Music is heavily tied to memory. This is because the part of your brain that processes music is connected to the hippocampus. The hippocampus stores long-term memories. Most people stop exploring new music around age 30. They stick to the songs they heard when they were teenagers. This is called neural crystallization. During your teenage years, your brain was developing rapidly. Emotions felt stronger because your emotional regulation systems were not fully built yet. The music you heard during those high emotion moments got burned into your memory. If you strictly listen to old music, it reveals a philosophy of preservation. You might believe that the past was better than the present. You value heritage. You find comfort in what has already been proven to work. You are skeptical of the new because the new has not been tested yet. If you constantly seek out new music, it reveals a philosophy of expansion. You believe that the best thing hasn't happened yet. You are willing to risk wasting time on a bad song just for the chance of finding a good one. You value potential over history. Neither approach is wrong, but they result in very different behaviors. The preservationist protects what exists. The expansionist tries to build what does not exist yet. This applies to how you handle change in your life. When your job changes, or your relationship changes, the preservationist feels a loss of identity. The soundtrack of their life has stopped playing. The expansionist feels curiosity. They are ready to start a new playlist. Now, we will turn this into a practical tool. You are going to analyze your own philosophy. You can do this right now. You need to look at your on-repeat playlist or your most played songs. Step 1. The structural audit. Look at your top 5 songs. Are they predictable? Do they follow a standard verse-chorus structure? Or are they wandering and loose? If they are structured, you likely value clarity and rules. You probably get frustrated when people are vague or inefficient. You want the world to make sense. If they are loose, you likely value freedom and expression. You probably get frustrated when people try to control you or put you in a box. You want the world to be open. Step 2. The lyric audit. Read the lyrics of your top 3 songs. Ignore the music. Just read the words like a book. What is the singer complaining about? What is the singer celebrating? Identify the villain in the song. Is the villain a specific person? Is the villain society? Is the villain the singer themselves? If the villain is society, you likely have a rebellious philosophy. You believe systems are corrupt. If the villain is the singer, you likely have an introspective philosophy. You believe you are responsible for your own misery. Step 3. The frequency audit. How do you listen? Do you listen to albums from start to finish? Or do you shuffle individual songs? If you listen to albums, you have a holistic philosophy. You believe context matters. You are willing to sit through the boring parts to understand the whole picture. You likely have a long attention span and value deep work. If you shuffle songs, you have a modular philosophy. You believe in optimizing the moment. You want to extract the best parts of life and discard the rest. You value efficiency and high stimulation. Step 4. The volume audit. How loud do you listen? Listening at high volume is a sensory override. It blocks out the rest of the world. It suggests a need for total immersion. It might mean you find the outside world overwhelming and you need to replace it with a controlled environment. Listening at low volume as background noise suggests you use music as a utility. It is just a tool to help you focus. You are not surrendering to the art. You are using the art to enhance your productivity. This is a utilitarian philosophy. So, we often treat music as a background decoration for our lives. We think it is just entertainment. But every time you press play, you are making a choice. You are choosing order or chaos. You are choosing conflict or resolution. You are choosing the past or the future. Your playlist is not just a collection of files. It is a map of your cognitive bias. It shows how you regulate your emotions. It shows how you predict the future. When you understand why you like what you like, you stop being a passive consumer. You begin to understand the architecture of your own mind. You can see your own philosophy staring back at you. Do not just listen to the melody. Listen to the mechanism. The next time you feel that rush of dopamine, ask yourself why. What pattern did my brain just recognize? And why does that pattern make me feel safe? That is where the real thinking begins.